Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Second Chance Live show where we're all about second chances, whether that is because of a failure you made, a mistake you made, or an opportunity that you could have improved on. You guys know that my second chance came after I attempted suicide multiple times and ended up in a psychiatric unit in Detroit, Michigan, and found my faith and pivoted powerfully into my new life. And I really feel like I got a second chance to succeed in life without the demands of sports. And we just want to talk about second chance stories and how you can live. And the world right now is in living in a second chance. Like really, like the pandemic just shifted and pivoted a lot of people. And I wanted to bring my friend Diamond on today because she has life experience of pivoting. I titled her episode "Grow Through It." I was reading her bio and I saw that she put that in there, and I said that is exactly what people really need to know right now is how we can grow through our pain, grow through our struggles, grow through this pandemic. And so if you are interested in this topic and you want to hear from Diamond and you want to hear our interesting dialogue, you know the drill. Hit the share button. What that will do is it will notify people that this is content worth listening to and engaging with. And let us know where you're tuning in from. Drop comments below. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on in your life. And y'all, I am so excited for this discussion. So, how you doing today, Diamond?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I've been on Zoom all day, and so I feel like my eyes are gonna literally fall out of my head. But I am super excited for our conversation today. Like,
Excited
I
too.
just feel like number one, as you being a former athlete, you understand transition, and not everybody I bring on is a former athlete. So I really want to dig into that because I know you have some challenges there.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I saw that you were a healthy person, and selfishly, I probably will ask you some questions. Your boy been over here struggling on the health. The pandemic has not been good to me. So maybe you can help people like me who, what they the quarantine 15, you can
Mhm.
help us to shed the quarantine 15
Yes.
in a healthy way, not
Yeah.
by just drinking water.
I actually
So
haven't heard that term before. I've heard COVID-19 pounds.
really, no,
Yes.
quarantine 15 is like a real thing. They call it like the freshman five, or like,
Yeah.
it's same thing, like quarantine, you're sitting there just eating and snacks and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. So I want to talk about your expertise too. And I know you've got some programs and we want to talk about that, let people know how they can plug in. So let us know your story.
Where to start? So, just to give everyone context, I first began as a dancer, probably like elementary up until middle school, and then I started running track in high school. Started running track in middle school for the high school, and then I transitioned from track to volleyball. And the crazy thing about volleyball, I did not want to play volleyball. My mom just thought it was a really good idea. You know, mom knows best. And the very first day of tryouts, I actually skipped because I did not want to go at all. I was like, I don't want to wear those short shorts. Like, people are going to look at my butt. I don't want to do that. But playing volleyball is actually what paid for my education for college. So
Well, good
I
choice.
yeah, absolutely fell in love with it. Once when I started to learn the skills, and I actually had a really good coach. So once when I transitioned from high school to college, Division 1 level at Grambling State University, which is a HBCU in Louisiana. Um, I at first decided to go to Grambling because it was a full ride, and then at the time they had a nursing program. And that was what I wanted to do like my whole life, just be in health.
Mhm.
Um, and then once when I got there, they didn't have the nursing program anymore, so I went to the biology. And then I would say 4 years, I've had quite a few injuries, but nothing too extreme to where I had to stop playing. So just a rundown. I had 2 sprained wrists. I pulled my hip flexor.
Ah,
I actually fractured my ankle. It's still fractured. The scar tissue just built around it. But I always played through it, always. So I would say
which may not have been smart, you know. And
no.
and actually, you know what? Like, I know you like in the middle of the story, but sometimes I do this thing on the show called Do the Daryl, And it's just where I just like mess up the complete dialogue because I want to go in a specific direction. It's cool.
Mhm.
It makes it fun and
Mhm.
interesting. Just trust me, I'm not gonna embarrass you or anything. But so check this out. I was thinking, I got injured, right? But I didn't know
Mhm.
the difference between being hurt and being injured. And there's this unspoken like culture in athletics that when you get hurt, you're supposed to play through everything, or else you
Yes.
weak, you a chump. But I don't think that stuff is healthy,
It's not.
you
It's
know?
really not.
So did you feel like if you feel like you would have rehab properly and correctly, do you feel like you still be dealing with some of the injuries?
Um, no, I feel like if I took the proper um like timeline of how to recover, I definitely wouldn't still be having like ankle issues here and there.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, the dialogue around being hurt and injured is definitely different for athletes for sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, back to your story. So you're dealing with this, the
Mhm.
injuries and coming back and what happened?
So senior year, once when volleyball was over, because volleyball's in the fall, I was like, oh yes, I can finally do everything that I always wanted to do that I couldn't do because of sports. And one of those things was flag football. So I'm a part of a sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Um,
Oh,
yes.
you supposed to, that was you missed the chance to hit the noise. It's too late now. It's too late. All
Um,
everybody, all your sisters like, girl, you ain't hit the noise on the podcast. It's cool. Too
no,
late.
not
We
today.
might we gonna have
Tomorrow.
to come back around.
No, Founders Day is tomorrow, so I'll save my throat for that.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yes,
so you're gonna be doing it all day.
yes.
Okay.
So we had an event, and it was flag football with other organizations, and that gut feeling beforehand, I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't play this because a lot of them aren't athletes. So playing flag football with non-athletes maybe not be the best idea, which wasn't. So I was the quarterback, and other team just decided just full out tackle me. Like no pulling the flag or nothing, tackle me. All I remember is just seeing dirt and then me screaming. Um, that was that was definitely the blow to the downhill spiral that was to come, for sure, because being an athlete and playing through all of those injuries that I had before, an ACL, it's different, because you're forced to actually sit down, and that process and that journey to realizing and going to the doctor and finding out that I tore my ACL was
Mhm.
very hard. And I would say I will never forget the time that I went to the hospital. My line sister went with me. And when the doctor came in and said that I tore my ACL, it literally, like the whole world just crashed on me. I didn't know what to do because it's like I had all these plans post graduation, everything. I had my life mapped out to the T. And then once when
Mhm.
that was said, it was just like everything was erased.
So
That's what it
what
felt
was your plan?
like. So my plan was to pick up the summer job that I had been working for previous years, which was I was a manager at a water park. So I was like, okay, that's making good money. I can save during the summer and then do the accelerated program, for nurses. So that was the plan. And then also to play in like co-ed volleyball, to coach, just to stay in the game. But that didn't go through at all.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so let's see. Tore my ACL two
Mhm.
weeks before graduation. I would say the 2 weeks before walking across the stage, like I did the whole prehab thing, and I guess I got a little big headed during prehab because I was like, "Ooh, I can start walking again.
Right.
Um, I can do all these things. Like my strength is coming back in my legs. Like I'll be fine. ACL
Thought you
surgery,
was healed, didn't you?
yeah, it'll be easy peasy." No, that was not it. In 2 weeks doing prehab and stuff, those those little habits started
Mhm.
to develop to where I I started to emotionally eat through the pain that I was feeling. And
Mhm.
I'm the type of person where I'm not comfortable with being vulnerable of what I'm going through. To be honest, like I'm still trying to work through that. But I've gotten a lot better. So behind closed doors, I was just eating Rocky Road ice cream out the container, probably each night. I didn't care what I was eating. I was just stuffing my face, just trying to get through it. And then once when that door opens, I was happy-go-lucky, Diamond, yay, like I'm going to be fine. And that's when I really, looking back, that's when I really should have started to be more self-aware of what I was doing. But at that time, of course, I wasn't. I was just going through it, just trying to make it to the end. And got home, which is in South Carolina, went to another doctor to have my surgery with, had my surgery. And I will never forget this. Waking up out of surgery is the worst feeling for me, at least, because I woke up and I was telling my leg to move. I was like, oh, just move your leg, move your leg. And my leg was not moving. It was like, what is happening? And I just started crying in front of my mom and the nurse and everything. Wow. It was
Did you think you were paralyzed?
No, it's just the fact that at that moment I realized, well, I believed that my body failed me because I've done so much through being an athlete and building up my strength and my endurance. And it's like, man, just because of flag football, like I can't bend my knee. It's swollen right now. I'm feeling this pain. So that's what it felt like. It felt like my body truly failed me. So that was an emotional experience itself. And then once when I came home and I realized like I would basically be in my bed for most, like in the beginning stages. Externally, I had the dream team of support. My mom, my boyfriend who had ACL surgery 2 years before I did. So he knew and he could relate. My line sisters were awesome. My niece and nephew were actually here visiting. So externally, I had the ultimate support, but external sources means nothing if that internal is not in alignment of what's out there. And at that time, my internal experience was playing the victim, I would say. And there's only but so long you can sit in that moment of like, woe is me. And one of those days just came where I went to the bathroom, and I stood up, washed my hands, I had the crutch, and I got a glance in the mirror. And this was probably like, honestly the first time I actually looked in the mirror. And at that moment, like I was hands on the sink, leaning forward, just looking at myself in the eyes. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? Who are you right now? And that was the moment where it was like, okay, something's got to give, because who I'm looking at is not who I want to be, nor who I was before my ACL. So in that moment, that's when I really just kind of started tapping into other people who had ACL surgery. I started tapping into nutrition and fitness and how to work on those things while you're still recovering. And in my research, what I started to notice was, injury or not, athletes are programmed completely differently as far as nutrition and fitness, through my own experience, and then teammates, and seeing other athletes do it as well. We're kind of like, oh, I can eat whatever because I'm going to burn it off in a game or in practice. And once when you transition out of your sport to the real world, you realize that's you can't do that anymore at all, because you keep those eating habits up.
I know. Can't eat like
Yeah.
you still got 2 days, right?
Yes, and you don't at all. And with having an injury, that's what really kind of packed on the pounds for me. So in that process, I gained 25 pounds of mostly fat. And I didn't recognize who I was. I didn't have the cut arms anymore. My stomach was a little poochy. Of course, the muscle mass was gone in my ACL leg, and it was just not a good feeling to actually see it. But I feel like that pain of me seeing it and sitting with that pain really built that momentum to do something about it, which was to grow through it instead of just going through the motions of like, okay, I'm going to rehab, blah, blah, blah. Here I am eating, I'm doing my exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm just like waiting for recovery to be done. So it's like, okay, how can I actually accelerate myself and come out this better than who I was going into it? So yeah, that's really what got me started as far as being an online health and fitness coach. Was just my own experience and realizing that athletes, we have a different mentality when it comes to nutrition and fitness. And at first I started working with athletes, female athletes, and realizing that the same story kept popping up. Like, you still have that athlete mentality. Like, oh, I can eat whatever I want. I can just work out here and there. Or when they realize that they gained weight, they go back in the gym and it's like, oh, I can just pick up where I left off. Nope.
Mm-hmm. I know,
Can't
right?
do that. Can't do that. You don't have the same build like you used to.
Hey, I thought I was gonna do that, but you know what? In my mind, it still is only like a month away. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like give me 4 weeks, I got this, and then 2 days later, I'm like, I'm straight.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm.
But I get it though, and it's something that a lot of athletes face, and I'm curious, because it's this internal work is so important, and I know athletes are so used to the grind and the hustle and the bustle that sometimes that can be like, nah, I'm straight. Just give me the workout plan.
Yep.
What's your process for really convincing an athlete of the importance of the internal work, and how can they grow in that area?
I really feel like it starts with realizing that being an athlete isn't your only identity, because so many people make their sport solely what they do only. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with athletes, especially at a collegiate level, high school level, having people in place to have those conversations with them is extremely important, because I was not thinking about my internal health at all when playing sports. I just thought like, oh, I just got to go out there, play volleyball and win. And
Mm-hmm.
that was it. But that awareness is extremely, extremely, extremely important, because you can't play your sport your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
At one point you're going to be sitting with yourself, and if you're not comfortable sitting with yourself, then that's a wake-up call right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just quoted my book.
Oh,
So have you read the book,
no.
Diamond? Dang. That should be a prerequisite to coming on the show. If you ain't read the book, I am not promoting your stuff. But I talk about that in the book. I was looking for it to see. I'm doing the deal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so important. I said something about I said there'll never be anything just like sports. There's nothing like pushing yourself physically to the max day after day and week after week. There's no feeling quite like the adrenaline rush you get when competition is fierce and the stakes are high. There are few things in life that bring the joy, excitement, and energy that winning a championship does. There is nothing like making a game-winning play and hearing the electric thunder from hundreds and thousands and millions of people cheering for you and your team. Nothing stimulates your ego like people asking for your autograph, media lining up to interview you, and having the world's attention centered on you. The reality is that nothing can or ever will be just like sports. And what I
Ooh,
say is,
yes.
but the good news for you and every other athlete who will face the end of an athletic career is that you have the power, Diamond, to find something more fulfilling than sports.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you got to go buy the book.
I will.
Guys, go order the book, secondchanceathletes.com. Insert mini commercial. Let's talk about the pivot. So now
Mm-hmm.
you've pivoted. You are a online health and fitness coach, and you mentioned how you help other people. What are you talk about some of the programs that you offer and the transformation people can experience from being a part of some of the programs?
So specifically the program that I offer for athletes, I call it simply former female athlete challenge. So I take them through a challenge. I touch on the 4 things to become more aware of and then face so you can actually achieve the results that you want. So I work with former female athletes. The results that they can get is kind of tapping into that previous energy that they had as an athlete, but transitioning that energy into their current life. Because you can still go in the gym and feel like an athlete, even though you may not be playing a game on Friday. And as far as nutrition, I kind of rewire the mindset that they have, because obviously as an athlete you felt like you can eat whatever, but now it's more so of, okay, how do you properly fuel your body now, for energy, for strength, for endurance, for your overall health. And then also now I work with anyone who needs help, but I do have a application process through it, because being a business owner, I've learned that not everyone is the best client, and I want to be able to put my energy into
Say it again. Not everybody is the best client. Say it again.
not
Say it
everyone is
again.
the best client.
I know that's right.
So I do have an application process with that. And that one is more so, I call it like legendary fit and fuel, because what I've realized and what I've experienced myself is through generations. People say like, oh, what's your family history as far as diseases? Oh, that might be passed on to you. But that's not necessarily 100% true, because it could stop with you. You could reverse that. That whole high blood pressure runs in my family does not have to continue through you and through your kids.
Okay.
So
I see you out here breaking generational health curses. I like that.
exactly, because
That's
that's
crazy. Wow.
yeah, because
Wow.
obesity in children is rising at a very alarming rate. And when
Wow.
I go out into the public, with my mask, protect yourself, wear your mask. And I see kids like who are overweight, like I am a very empathetic person. And it's like, when I see them, it's like, and it's not their fault, because they're only children. So my goal with that is to really just teach and hope that those seeds are planted, so they can eventually plant those seeds into their family, and it continues that
Right.
pattern. Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's go right there. Now let's get into the nitty gritty, because here's the challenge, right? I like what Mike Tyson says is everyone has a plan until they get hit. So, it's one thing to be like, all right, I'm signing up and I'm going to break these generational health curses. That's my wording, not necessarily yours, but I'm going to change it. It's going to start with me, right?
Mhm.
And you go to the family dinner and it's Thanksgiving, and and I'm speaking specifically of my family, they got the fried chicken, they
Mhm.
got the greens, the mac and cheese with just like 18 different cheeses, 7-layer salad. I mean, they made a salad a fat
Mhm.
meal, like it's just
Mhm.
like all of this cornbread, black eyed peas, sweet potato pie,
Mhm.
and I'm just supposed to say no to all of that?
Yes.
How? Why?
Because NO with a period at the end is a full sentence. No.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy.
It's because you're saying that it's not that easy. But whenever you have a true why, and then you're actually looking at that food and saying like, okay, if I consume this and my children see it and they consume it too, what am I actually teaching them? What am I feeding them? Because essentially, I don't know if you're a parent or not.
I got 3 girls.
Yeah. So I would hope that you would want your kids to be healthy. And as a leader, they follow suit by you.
That's true.
So your
That's
kids are
true.
your why.
That is true. Oh man. Starting to feel a little convicted now. Okay. So how do you make healthy food taste good? Because I feel like that's my biggest problem, right? I told you I was
Mhm.
gonna be a little selfish on this show
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm gonna get coached and I'm supposed to be interviewing. But seriously, because it's like if it tastes equally as good,
Mhm.
I wouldn't necessarily be as tempted.
Mhm. I would say with that, it definitely varies by the person. Um, and when I hear that, most of the time people need to take baby steps into it. So you don't have to dive into, oh, I'm only eating this. Like,
Mhm.
okay, you still like fried chicken. you like the 3 wings and
Yeah.
2
Oh,
thighs or something like that.
making me hungry.
If you just cut that part down and then
Ooh,
increase a more healthier version or increase like vegetable intake. I always tell people to start with the vegetables and the fruit, increase that more, and then decrease slowly like the unhealthy things.
yeah.
But some people, they can just dive right in. They can just say, oh, I'm cutting it off cold turkey.
Yeah.
And prime example of that. So I'm actually vegan now.
Ooh.
And
I
for
read your profile. It said vegan-ish. Don't be
Mhm.
lying on my show, Diamond. What's the ish?
The ish is because I started off as a pescatarian, which is I ate fish, dairy, and eggs. But I still like the vegan ish because it looks cool. It sounds good.
So you don't do that anymore? You don't do the fish or the eggs or no milk, no catfish?
Mm-mm.
What if I fried it though? With a little
No,
Cajun sauce. All
no.
right. So let's do the deal real quick. We're gonna get back into this. I'm gonna name off a food. You tell me if I can have it, all right? Because this is some things that I like, and I need to know in my mind. Uh, every Friday, I have what I call Hibachi Friday. It
Mhm.
is the lunch portion because it's on sale, and I get steak cooked medium with fried rice and yum yum sauce with an extra yum yum sauce because they be a little stingy.
Mhm.
Can I have it?
Um, See, these are hard questions because I mean you can have anything you want, but it's how you have it. So with that, if
What
you
does that
can make
mean?
it
What does that mean?
so you can have unhealthy foods here and there, but it's about portion control. It's about how much you're eating it. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like I eat candy, I eat desserts that are vegan, I eat chocolate that's vegan. But yeah, you can have it. You can just portion control. Be aware of it. Be a conscious eater, intuitive eater. So as far as hibachi, I would say honestly, if you can make it yourself, that's the better option because
Mhm.
you're controlling what goes in it and you're controlling what um, grade of steak that is.
Okay. Where you from? Where you like what state do you stay in?
South Carolina.
Do y'all have Zaxby's there?
Yes.
Can I have wings and things? That's the other problem.
You can have the wings, but not the things. Extra celery.
Extra celery. I like it. I like it. Hey, I saw something happen.
Mhm.
When you were talking about this generational thing, you got a little passionate about that.
Yeah.
And I can tell that your heart really cares about it. Why do you care so much about um stop stopping our perpetual diseases that we pass from generation to generation?
Um, whew. So just through my own personal experience, losing my grandma through, you know, um, health conditions and things of that nature. And then, like, my mom has high blood pressure. Multiple people in my family have high blood pressure. On my dad's side, I believe diabetes runs in the family.
Mm,
Um, and for me, experiencing the death of my grandma, I felt like could have been prevented. I feel like she could have lived a lot longer if she had better eating habits and activity habits. And experiencing that pain of losing someone when you know that it could have been prevented
mm,
is a tough pill to swallow. Um,
mm,
because it's like that's when all the shoulda, woulda, coulda pain
mhm.
comes into play.
Wow.
And me experiencing that pain, I don't want my kids to go through that pain. I don't want my grandkids to go through that pain. Um, because I mean, I know death is inevitable, but if it can be prevented or if someone's life can be prolonged,
Mm,
that's the goal
mm.
for sure.
Wow. Wow. You just took me to a place. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Mhm.
Vulnerability is applauded
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Mhm.
So thank you for that. And yeah, you took me back because I had an uncle who had diabetes and he first lost his finger, right? Didn't change his eating habits, lost another finger, didn't change it. eating habits. He lost his leg, didn't
Yeah.
change his eating habits, and then he passed away. And I never forget thinking the same thing, thinking the
Mhm.
same thing. So I'm with you. My heart connects with that as well. I just sometimes I feel like it's almost impossible, and I know, like, that's why it's not, but it just
Mhm.
feels like you're because it's ingrained into culture, the
It
way
is.
that people eat, and it's not just minorities. I mean, every culture has its thing, right? Like,
Mhm.
my wife is white, and they got green bean casserole, which is not necessarily healthy,
Yeah.
and they eat their stuff and ham, and it's just, it's almost like it's so funny. It's almost like you're betraying a religious belief if you go with a different food. Like, real talk, like, "Oh,
Right.
you ain't gonna eat this?" Like,
Mhm.
this is what we eat. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Like, how do we create change?
Um, Going back to it really starts with you, as an individual, taking on that responsibility, for yourself, and then also the people around you, and taking on that responsibility for the younger generations to come after you, because ultimately you're a leader. And the change may not happen at the snap of a finger, but as long as you plant those seeds, change will gradually start to happen. And prime example for me, I was pescatarian for like 2 years, and then I transitioned to being a vegan. And me leading and actually living my own lifestyle and talking about it, I'm not telling people, hey, you should be vegan, you should cut this out, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't eat this. But by me actually living it and people seeing me live it, I've noticed people around me have started to change their habits.
Mm,
They don't eat dark meat anymore. They don't fry their foods anymore. They bought an air fryer. They make protein shakes.
mm,
They've made a conscious decision to actually get up and move, not necessarily work out, because not every workout has to be at the gym, like
mhm,
to dance, doing yoga. And it's like I've seen the changes happening. And it's okay that it doesn't happen immediately, but you know that those seeds are planted.
right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Be the change you want to see. Leading by example.
Mhm.
I definitely think it's important. Dang. I now feel convicted. I'm going to go get some hibachi today too. I was actually thinking about it.
Make it yourself, then it'll be fun with your family.
I know. I like to just we're gonna land the plane here in a second, but I
Mhm.
want to talk about a little bit more about the why we eat. And you mentioned, like, you know, portion control and that type of thing, but there's also the reality of what you've been through, which is stress eating.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people. I mean, we started off joking, but it's a real thing, like the quarantine 15
Yeah.
and the stress that people are under right now, and food and alcohol consumption is up, and it's like it's because of this is how they're coping and getting through
Mhm.
things. What is your advice for someone who may be experiencing that, listening right now, who's dealing with stress eating? What would your advice be to them to get out of that rut?
Um, First is self-awareness, and I tell all of my clients to ask themselves this one question before they eat anything, even if it's just a chip. Ask yourself, why am I eating this?
Mm,
And what does this do for my body?
mhm,
If you can't answer why am I eating this, or if your answer is an emotional response, put it down.
mm,
Or if you're looking at some fried chicken, and you ask yourself, what is this fried chicken serving my body for? How is this fried chicken fueling my body?
endorphins. I'm just kidding.
You can
Well,
get that somewhere else.
my bad. Okay, keep going. I'll keep going.
um, 9 out of 10, the thing that you're questioning is it doesn't serve your body, and
Mm,
it's just that having the courage to actually ask yourself those questions and then being able to put it down. And
yeah.
if you have an emotional response to it, then I challenge people to tap into that, dive into to more of it. And emotions and feelings are okay. Like
Mhm.
it's okay to feel angry, sad, um, upset, frustrated. Like be aware of it, accept it, and then ask yourself, okay, how can I change this? What can I do to what makes me happy that I can do right now? For
Mhm.
me, it's dancing. So if I'm in a very low vibrational energy, I do a dance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you.
So
Hmm.
it's just those two questions that
That's
you have to
good.
ask. Self.
That's good. I think that's important because awareness is key, and it's funny. I did a video called "The Power of the Pause"
Mm.
because it's just that slight pause helps you to make more wise decisions. And
Mhm.
sometimes we're just moving so fast, or we're hungry, and we just go straight to the fridge, and we don't pause to actually think about what's driving our behavior.
Yep.
And it's the power of the pause.
Yep.
Um, Question.
Yes.
How does it feel to be vegan-ish, right? Like, how does it feel, like, how do you feel personally, health-wise, compared to when you weren't vegan?
Amazing. My energy is way better than what it used to be. After I eat, I don't catch the itis. When people, oh, I just ate, now I want to take a nap. That's not what food should do.
Mm,
Food is literally fuel that gives you energy, that helps your body recover.
mm,
There's multiple important things that foods do,
uh,
especially when you are vegan. Plants that people don't eat, vegetables, people don't eat fruits that people don't really eat. Um, yeah, I honestly feel this is the best and the healthiest that I've ever felt, even
wow,
when I was an athlete. And honestly, being vegan has helped with my workouts as well.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking like I was talking to one of my friends, my new friends. His name's Terry Brock. He's a professional speaker. He's been in the speaking game for a grip. And
Mhm.
me and him were just talking about speaking and all this stuff. And he's vegan.
Mhm.
And he was trying to convince me, to try it. He says, just try it, just see
Yeah.
how you feel. Just see how you feel. And I was like, no, I was like, I can't because I was thinking about hibachi that day. Um, but I'm hearing it, I'm listening, and you know what? I don't know the truth to this. I've never done my own research, but I heard Chris Paul is on a plant-based diet, right? And I'm starting to see all of these like plant-based, like powered by plants and like all of this stuff. And there's this trend. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. I find it really hard to believe that you can build muscle and endurance and strength off of just plants.
Mhm. It's very true. It's plants and beans, really. But the reason why that is because, okay, a chicken breast, just protein. That's what you're really getting from chicken breast. But when you eat like black beans or kidney beans, that's a carb, which is a healthy carb, that gives you energy, and it also is a good source of protein as well. Like it has multiple services that it does for your body, not just one thing.
Mm,
So that's why with being a vegan, I actually eat more than not being a vegan, which is cool because like I can eat a lot.
really?
Yeah, and it's a lot of fiber. Um, like you consume a lot of fiber whenever you are vegan, so it's like you feel full longer, but
Hmm,
it's like once when I can eat, it's like
hmm.
I can eat a lot.
That's surprising to me. I wouldn't have thought of it that way because it
Hmm.
seems like you just on this like super low calorie diet. You can eat little small baby portions
Mm-mm.
and all that stuff.
No,
So,
technically, it's being a vegan because you're eating so much vegetables and fruit. Vegetables and fruits are carbs. It's a source of carbs. So it's like
gotcha,
you're honestly eating a lot of carbs, but your
gotcha.
body processes it different than white bread or white rice.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, hey y'all. I hope you're getting entertained by me getting coached because, but here's the thing. One of the reasons why I do this sometimes I get in like question mode, coach me mode
Mhm.
because I feel like people think this. Like these are the questions that people ask. These are the pushbacks that they have. Like it's
Mhm.
a real challenge to try to change your diet when you go to potlucks and baby showers and events and like
Mhm.
nobody's eating that way. And you got to pack your lunch. Like it's not like our culture in this world, our culture in our families is not built to be healthy. And
Yeah.
so like these are real like questions that I feel like the audience wants to know. And so that's why I ask it. And I'm not like that dumb, y'all. Don't be judging me. Like I get it and I do make healthier choices.
Mhm.
But anyway, so and I digress. Um Listen, let's land this plane. So the last two things I just want you to talk about is number one, client results. Like, what's
Mhm.
maybe one of your favorite client stories of
Mhm.
transformation? And then I'll ask you the second question after that.
Okay. Two people honestly come to mind as far as like my favorite transition story. One, she's former volleyball player at a D1, but at the time, whenever she became a client, she was working two jobs, coaching volleyball, and she was in grad school. And the way that I work with my clients is specifically one-on-one, and time was her problem. So I literally developed her program to be 20 minutes for each workout. And she got her results in 90 days, and she honestly crushed it. And it blew my mind because I've never developed someone's program based off of 20-minute workouts that were only like 3-4 days out of the week. But I just tapped into understanding how the athletic body is and muscle memory, and that's how I designed her program. And she shred that fat so quick.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And I would say my second one, because I can't leave her out either. She's a former softball player, and she is my top because it was more of a life transition. Because I worked with her through more than just nutrition and fitness. Because when I have my clients, I'm a very relational person. Like I actually like to have a connection. So with her, she shared like any problems that she was having in her personal life, and I gave her tips as far as how to grow through those things as well. Like she just got a relationship, she was transitioning to a new job, so it was like I coached her more than just nutrition and fitness. So seeing that transformation overall was just amazing.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Changing lives, changing generations. Love
Yeah.
it. What is one thing you want to leave our listeners with?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say tap into being vulnerable. Because whenever you start or whenever you're in that journey of health and fitness, certain things start to pop up. And I say just tap into that, share it with somebody, be vulnerable, really be vulnerable with your story, with how you've even gained weight or that the journey of you trying to lose weight, and the struggles that you go with, because you never know who is listening and then who can also benefit from your story as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Love it. Good stuff. Diamond, if they want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Definitely on Instagram. My name on there is Diemend Chanel, DIEMEND CHANEL.
You almost messed that up, didn't you?
Yeah, then you put it. So I just read it.
True story. There's one time where I had did a little spoken word performance at this like club or whatever, and I tried to plug my Instagram handle and I spelled it wrong. I was just so embarrassing. I literally said at Stinson Speaks, and I said STINON or something, and it was like I just completely butchered it, and it was like my wife was there. She was just like, "You said the wrong thing." I was like, "Oops." And it's on video, so it's embarrassing. If you guys want to see the video, hit me up. I might share it. Just to practice vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, man, this has been great. You crushed it. It's been phenomenal.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for adding value to our audience. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your transparency. We're cheering for you. We're rooting for you. We believe in you, and we wish you the best. And thank you for this time.
Yes. Thank you for your time and for this opportunity.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in today. Listen, we couldn't have talked about a better subject. It's so important for you to shed that quarantine 15 and get rid of that. And then also just to be vulnerable and love yourself and eat for the right reasons and give your body fuel instead of toxic stuff. And so all of that is really good stuff to hear. And she gave us inspiration, but also practical application. So make sure you go follow her on all those platforms. And I want to invite you back tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Our next guest is going to be Megan Murphy. She's going to She's gonna crush it. I mean, she's been a TV producer, an editor. She's got a book called Fully Charged that's gonna be publishing. I mean, she is a beast, and you guys are gonna really enjoy her. When I asked Megan to which date she would like to share, she specifically chose tomorrow because it was the day that she lost her father. So it's the she said the best way for her to celebrate her father's passing is to celebrate life. And so that's why she's going to come on and talk about second chances and all her story and everything. And you'll get to learn everything from her tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us back at that time, guys. And always remember that your best days are in front of you and not behind you. If there's anything I can do to be of support, go ahead and reach out. Feel free to join my text community at 770-407-5177. I do have that memorized. Unlike Diamond, her Instagram handle. We love you guys. Peace.
Bye.